This video is brought to you by Austin St. John, the original Red Power Ranger, and his upcoming Kickstarter campaign for the first two issues of his comic series Redemption. I was sent a copy of issue 1 via email for review, and I must say up front, it's a solid start that with some refining going into the future issues, it's on track to being a really cool series. On June 18, 2021, at 800 hours, a Marine lifts up a simple prayer to the heavens on the forward operating base in Afghanistan. Lord, I don't ask you for a lot of things, but I'm asking today. What are they asking God for? Well, we shall find out in issue 2. Just kidding. We're introduced to a band of Marines prepping for an upcoming confrontation and arranging extraction points. In the moment, our prayer-minded Marine is asked for permission to speak freely with a simple question burdening another Marine's mind. Sir, do you honestly think we will make it out of here before it begins? A question the Marine can only respond with, we better, our families are counting on us. After all, they're going into this encounter blind and don't know what's coming at them. So of course, there's a reasonable amount of doubt. The prayer-minded Marine, who is actually the captain, then asks a sergeant whose name is Cole, how's Julia and the baby? And Cole responds, they're good sir, spoke with her yesterday and let her know we are coming home. To which the captain responds, God willing, we all get home. Flashback to 2 days ago on June 16, 2021 at 1500 hours, the military SCIF room received a chilling call from the Hotel 6 base, which is a call sign of the same base that Sergeant Cole and the captain are at, stating they are being outrun by insurgents that are unarmed. They came out of nowhere, a division-sized element, and they are killing everyone. He cries out for reinforcements, claiming that whatever their enemy is, they aren't alive and are turning on them all, right as the comms go dead. Unsure of what to make of the report, everyone in the room is told what they just heard in the room stays in the room. On the field, the remnant of Marines left are covered by thick fog manning the stations and are seemingly prepped for what's to come. But out of the fog emerges a single unarmed Middle Eastern man. But something's off. His eyes are glowing bright white, with smoke emitting out of it. As the fog begins to clear, another man is spotted, then another one, until an entire army of them are in front of the Marines. And the Marines are definitely stressed out at what's happening but remain in their assigned formations. They may not die, but we can sure as hell slow them down. This is a delay in action until we get evac'd and regrouped. The Marines are then given their orders and rules of engagement. With what they see before them, one Marine believes hell is upon us, another says may God be with us, and another refutes saying I'm not sure God's coming to this one. Regardless of what they feel about what is in front of them, they're finally given the order to light up. But after shooting rounds of ammunition into the enemy, none of them fall over. Instead, as their limbs fall off, they just simply grow back with some sort of mystical aura. The weirdest thing is that even when one of their heads got knocked off, it's replaced by a literal bare head with the same mystical aura. As the Marines try to hold their ground, the extraction helicopter flown by Voodoo arrives and is perplexed at what is going on, as they provide cover fire for the ground units. But on the ground, as the fog begins to come closer to the Marines, the ones who inhale the fog are turned into the same lifeless, hive-mind, eye-glowing husks as the Middle Eastern men. But the even scarier thing is that they start firing back at their fellow Marines and start to gun them down. The ground units are now in full panic mode, with the new command being to fall back to the evac point. Though in the midst of all the chaos, one of the Marines sees the appearance of a girl in a bright golden dress, who simply tells him, go. As Voodoo's evac chopper leaves the war zone, a literal green aura demonic figure emerges out of the fog with a last-ditch effort to consume them, trying to bite the plane, trying to bite the helicopter or something. But thankfully, they were able to evade it and head back to the base. Once they touch down at the base, the surviving Marines give each other their well wishes and disperse to head home to see their families. We follow the journey home of the captain from the battlefield, living on whatever that place is named on the sign. I need to find Kenzie and make sure her and Kelly are okay. Please God, let them be safe. but the town is eerily empty and the dogs are making the same noises with the same glowing eyes as the things he fought on the base. Now, thinking the worst, he runs to his home as quickly as he could, getting inside and shouting their names, but no one could be found, promising that he would find them both. He then heads into the next room in search of a box, hoping that it is still there, a box housing a sword entrusted to him by an elder. Picking up the sword, a red glowing aura emits from it. Just as he grips the sword, the same dog he saw in the field is now at the front door, but with a single swing of the sword, he takes its head off clean, followed by 3 more possessed dogs showing up and taking their heads off clean as well, with another clean swing. That's a lot of cleans in that sentence. Could it be true? Once upon a time, my color was red. I guess it still is. And with that, usually at this point of the review, I'll say let's dive into our Christian fiction judgment scale of this issue. Because on this channel, I primarily review Christian fiction and judge it on a scale of 5 in 4 categories: story, artwork and creativity, theological basis, and my enjoyment and how likely I am to recommend it. And since this is more of a comic with someone who is seemingly a Christian in it than a Christian comic, it's important that you are able to spot the difference. I'm modifying our judgment scale to exclude the theological aspect, which refers to how well Christian principles, theology, and scripture is adapted into a piece of Christian fictional work. For the story of this issue, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. The premise and concept are really intriguing, but the pacing and panel-to-panel layout is a bit busy. Like, I had to reread the entire thing to really get what was happening. It was laid out in a way as if it's a short episode than a comic, which was a bit confusing for me. For example, we start off with the captain and Sergeant Cole's conversation on June 18, 2021 at the airfield in Afghanistan, which call sign is Hotel 6. After a coming soon ad of Jason Eisenberg's alter ego Blue novel, we get the flashback to June 16, 2021 at 1500 hours in the military SCIF room. Then we transition to a group of soldiers and the standoff with the Middle Eastern men with the glowing eyes. Now, probably it's me being a bit slow. I honestly thought this was part of the flashback of what happened on the 16th because the context of the soldiers' dialogue to what was reported, it matched up. So I honestly thought it was just like a continuous read of what happened on the 16th. But then it's probably like they have the intel of what went on, so they're preparing for it and etc. It's only when I got down to the extraction point and went back and reread again and matched the watch times that I realized, oh, right, we're back to the 18th. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but it was just a source of confusion for me in my initial reading. Another one is the girl in the gold dress. The panel just felt like it was dropped in and didn't really gel well with all the rest of panels on that particular page or the ones prior. When you read a comic, your brain often imagines the scenery as you jump from panel to panel, text bubble to text bubble, right? All hell just broke loose. Their own men are being possessed and turning on each other. Voodoo is raining down cover fire, as it literally said voodoo bring the rain a couple panels earlier. Someone who I assume is the captain following the bandana mask throughout the comic gets shot in the knee and is being toted away to the evac chopper. Then the quote, which I assume is from the captain on "Call it a broken arrow. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you, but you are here for me now," as he watches the golden girl tell him go. The panel is amazing with the gold shimmering on the black, but in reading it in the moment, it felt random, especially the quote. Now, in post-editing, after I recorded the voiceover and everything, I just, while editing the video, decided to actually look up what a broken arrow is, and a broken arrow is defined as an unexpected event involving nuclear weapons that result in the accidental launching, firing, detonating, theft, or loss of weapon. To date, 6 nuclear weapons have been lost and never recovered. And it says also, since 1950, there have been 32 nuclear weapon accidents known as broken arrows. So I believe that's the context of it. But in the reading of it, as I'll just continue to say, it was just like the transitioning between some panels was like really abrupt. It cuts the thought without actually putting a full stop on the thought, if you know what I mean. It's like if it were, it's like a movie or a show and it transitions from scene to scene seamlessly like that. I could it will like it. I really find that this honestly, it'll make a really cool series or movie adaptation with the way the panels are laid out. But as a comic, it was really confusing. I had to reread it twice to like really get, because it's like it's so weird. It's so action packed that it's overly action packed. I don't know if that's like a fair review, but that's just how I felt while reading through it the first time around. And then I had to reread it again, match speech bubbles to try to track to see, okay, who's the main character here. I have to like actually take a mental note of all the times I saw the bandana, well, the full, oh jeez, I'm not a military guy, so that's just my 2 cents on it. I'll get back to what I actually recorded in the review now, but I just wanted to explain myself on that part to make sure, because in post editing I realized that I'm not as coherent as what I really wanted to get across in that section of my review. It's just like, it just felt like just dropped in, and those are 2 instances of where the pacing just felt like weird on how like a lot of context. That's the only gripe I have with when it came to the story, on how it was paced in certain areas. Like that point where the cold girl was like, it looked really cool. It looked really cool, but it didn't make sense. And I'm all for mystery, especially to build up intrigue for your future comics, especially when it looks cool. But when it drifts into confusion like that, where you have to reread it and still rereading it, it's like, wait, what? It just felt dropped in. And that's my only gripe when it came to the story. But other than that, it was a really good read through the first issue. When it comes to artwork and creativity, it's a solid 4 to 5. The concept felt quite unique and really intriguing. Just needs some ironing out, as I said, but the art was great. I really like the black and white pencil shading look that was contrasted with the green colors, the gold colors for the girl, and the red for the blood and the aura of the captain in the end. I really do like myself some black and white comic art styles. However, they did Critter and whoever this was an injustice though. Going from the detail of Captain's face throughout the comic to this face made me laugh out loud a bit. I mean, like, they did this guy an injustice with a close-up like this. And for the final category, my enjoyment and how likely I am to recommend it is a 4 to 5. I like the premise of it all and the entire concept of the story, but it was just that some of the panel-to-panel pacing didn't land with me. The reason why I said it felt like it was designed as if it was a show was because the way the transition between the panels was like how some shows transition between scenes. But when you are watching a movie or a show, it's much easier to follow if it's a show. Like how the Arrow series did Oliver's flashback. Whenever they did a flashback, it always had a kind of darker tint around the screen always had like a kind of darker tint. Or with the Golden Girl, it could have been like one of those continuous shots where you just see like the girl just like, you know, appear, animation of her appearing and telling them go, like something like we've seen already in like those kind of high octane battle scenes. Probably something like that Star Wars movie. I can't remember the name of it at the top of my head. I just play a short clip. And invoked the scene with the Golden Girl invoked that thought, but the way how it was just like dropped down and the quote was just like, yeah, I talked about it enough about that. That was my only gripe with it. But overall, Austin St. John's Redemption issue 1 is a 4 to 5 from the Xplanations. It was an honor to be contacted to cover the comic. Won't disclose who contacted me, but I got contacted from someone who worked on a Remnant comic series that really liked the videos. And for those of you that don't know, Austin St. John is the original Red Power Ranger from the 1993 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Link to his site and the Kickstarter campaign for the Redemption issues 1 and 2 is in the description below. If you liked what you heard, then be sure to check it out, as despite my review and my opinion on it, I won't be able to really do the entire story and artwork justice. And I always say, even though I am doing a review on it, buy it for yourself and see if you have a different opinion, and let me know in the comments if you disagree with what I said or if you agree with what I say. It's literally a review that is based on my opinion. If you enjoyed the video, then why not consider leaving a like on it and subscribing with post notifications to the channel. On the channel, we primarily break down Christian and non-Christian fictional stories with emphasis on those that are made by professing Christian authors or with comic panels like this. As I have always believed, when people pray hoping for mercy and goodwill and justice, they are praying only to themselves. The void doesn't listen. Hurricanes swirl, fires burn, plagues spread, bombs drop from the sky, and mass graves are heaped with bodies. As a clone, someone who exists outside the natural order, I can see more clearly the absence of a loving creator. This God died before, it will die again, because that is the only inevitable truth that the universe knows. I will spit at it and write my own scripture, carving it into the skin of the mutants who also play God. But we also make more generalized Christian content looking at unsung Bible stories you probably haven't heard about, as well as an initiative to do Christian creative projects ranging from making replicas of different places in the Bible to creating small-scale video games based on Christian fictional stories. If you enjoyed the video to the point you are looking to check out another one of our videos, then check out this random one that YouTube is recommending to you. I don't know, is it a YouTube short from the channel? Is it a coverage of a Christian comic book? Or a breakdown of how Marvel consistently twists the Bible in recent and old comics? Be sure to click the card and find out.